They say that letting go is the only way to move forward, but I believe some things are worth holding onto fiercely. I'm Margaret, born in 1961 in a quiet rural town just outside Melbourne. This farm, these 40 acres of rolling fields and weathered barns, is more than dirt and crops to me. It's the legacy of my late husband, Harold, and the home where I built my life, my family, and my dreams. The farmhouse still smells faintly of his aftershave, and every tree here holds a memory. But lately, I've been restless, and that restlessness didn't come from the soil beneath my feet. It came from the ones I thought I could trust the most. Liam, my younger son, has always been full of ambition. He moved to the city years ago, chasing dreams I barely understood. And Sophie, his wife, is a sharp-minded woman with a polished smile and eyes that never seem to quite reach me. Together, they've been pushing me to sell the farm. Their plan is grand. Use the money to fund their tech startup, GreenPath, an app designed to connect urban consumers with local food producers, they say. It sounds noble on paper, a way to bridge two worlds. But the truth is, they want my farm to bankroll their dreams, turning this land I cherish into nothing more than an investment. At first, I thought they might be joking. Why would I sell a place that carries the weight of so many years, so much love? I refused to even entertain the idea. But Liam was persistent. He called me weekly, sometimes daily, telling me I was holding onto the past like a stubborn relic. "Mom, you're stuck in old ways," he said once, his voice dripping with frustration. "This is the future. You don't want us to fail, do you?" I could hear Sophie in the background, her voice soft but insistent, promising a new life, modern, profitable, exciting. She even invited me to coffee, saying she wanted to show me the business plan in person. I remember that coffee meeting like it was yesterday. Sophie arrived with a sleek folder full of charts, projections, and photos of their vision: a boutique hotel, a farm-to-table restaurant, a hub for tourists wanting an authentic rural experience. She smiled warmly as she spoke, but her eyes flickered with something else, something calculated. "Margaret," she said, "we want you to be part of this, not just as the landowner, but as a partner. You'd have shares in the company. It's a win-win." I looked around the cafe at the other customers with their busy lives, their disposable coffee cups. I wondered if any of them understood what I was about to lose. Because selling the farm wouldn't just mean handing over land. It would mean erasing a lifetime of hard work, memories of Harold's steady hands guiding me through planting seasons, the laughter of children running through fields that stretched for miles. I told Sophie no. Firmly. I wasn't about to give up the last piece of my husband's legacy for a startup that, in my heart, felt like a gamble. I could see the disappointment flash across her face, quickly masked by practiced politeness. Liam, when I told him, was less subtle. "You're being selfish," he accused over the phone. "We need this money. You're just standing in the way of our success." Their words stung, but I reminded myself of all the failed ventures Liam had tried before: the cafe that closed within 6 months, the online store that never took off, the half-finished projects that drained more money than they made. I wasn't blind to the pattern. Yet here they were, expecting me to bail them out, to sacrifice what I held dear for their dreams. What hurt more than their demands was the way they talked about me as if I were a relic of the past, too old to understand the future. I was 60 then, yes, but I wasn't stupid. I knew the world was changing fast, but some things deserved to be preserved, not sold off for quick gains. Throughout all this, my adopted son Jonas remained a quiet support. He lived in Prague, working as an international property lawyer, a world apart from the chaos here. Unlike Liam, Jonas never asked for anything. Instead, he sent letters filled with encouragement, reminding me of my strength and wisdom. When I finally told him about the pressure to sell, he didn't hesitate. "Don't sign anything, Margaret," he said firmly. "I'll come home and help you sort this out." Not long after, Liam and Sophie returned. This time, they came with legal documents, papers they wanted me to sign, transferring ownership, giving them control. The coldness in their eyes surprised me. They no longer hid their impatience or frustration. "We're just trying to help," Liam said sharply. "If you don't cooperate, we'll have to find other ways." I felt cornered, scared even, but I refused to buckle. I told them I wouldn't sign until I had spoken to Jonas. The tension in the room was palpable as I reached for my phone and dialed Jonas's number. Margaret, his voice was calm, steady. Don't worry. I'm on a flight tomorrow. We'll get through this. That night, alone in the farmhouse that smelled of memories, I realized how deep the divide had grown. Family, I had thought, was a bond stronger than anything. But sometimes, it's not blood that binds us, it's trust, respect, and shared values. I looked out across the fields, the sun dipping below the horizon, casting long shadows on the land I wasn't ready to lose. No matter what came next, I was determined to protect this farm not just for me, but for the legacy it held, and for the truth I refused to let it slip away. When Jonas arrived at the Melbourne airport, I felt an unexpected wave of relief. The years and the tension hadn't worn away his calm presence. He stepped off the plane with the quiet confidence of a man who had spent his life untangling complicated problems, and he carried with him a determination to protect what was rightfully mine. Driving back to the farm, I told him everything. About Liam and Sophie's insistence, their endless pressure to sell, the legal papers they had pushed in front of me like a trap. Jonas listened carefully, his brow furrowed with concern, but never with doubt. Margaret, he said, his voice steady, we're going to unravel this. No one is going to take your farm without a fight. Once we were settled in the kitchen, Jonas spread the stack of documents across the table. They looked impressive legal jargon and complex terms designed to intimidate anyone unfamiliar with the language. But Jonas's eyes scanned each page quickly, recognizing the subtle traps hidden between the lines. They've crafted these papers to strip you of any control, he said, shaking his head. It's not just about selling the farm. They want to cut you out entirely. Over the next few days, Jonas and I prepared. He researched Liam's past ventures, the failed cafes, the abandoned online stores, the debts that seemed to quietly shadow every new business idea. He uncovered issues with their startup's name, GreenPath, which had already drawn legal attention due to trademark infringement claims. This wasn't just about money, it was a web of deceit designed to exploit me. When the day of the meeting came, the air felt thick with tension. We gathered at the local bank on a neutral ground where everyone would have to listen. Sitting around the long, polished table were Liam and Sophie, looking composed but wary, their lawyer Cooper, who had that practiced air of someone used to steering difficult conversations, Eva Baldwin, the bank's manager, who watched with professional curiosity, Jonas, calm and unshakable, and me, feeling a mix of nerves and steely resolve. Liam started with his usual bravado. "Mom, this is about family," he said, trying to mask the desperation beneath his words. "We're trying to build something real, something that lasts. You should support us." But Jonas wasn't swayed. He methodically laid out the facts. Liam's business history shows a pattern of failed ventures and mounting debts, he said clearly. Their startup, GreenPath, has unresolved trademark issues that put the entire project at risk. The documents they're asking Margaret to sign would give them complete control over the property, with no safeguards for her interests. Sophie's expression flickered. The confidence she had worn like armor began to crack under Jonas's scrutiny. Cooper shifted uncomfortably, aware that the legal foundation of their plan was crumbling. Eva, the bank manager, leaned forward, her eyes reflecting genuine concern. "I have reviewed these documents," Eva said slowly, "and I must say, they are heavily one-sided. They offer very little protection for Margaret and place the bulk of the risk on her shoulders. If I were in her position, I would think twice before signing anything." The room was quiet for a moment. Liam's face tightened. "This is family," he repeated, voice rising. "You should be helping us, not fighting us." Jonas's reply was calm but resolute. "Family is built on trust and respect. This is neither. This is exploitation masked as progress. Margaret deserves better." I watched Liam's frustration turn to anger, his youthful arrogance dissolving into something raw and bitter. For the first time, I saw the son I had raised slipping away into a man driven by greed and desperation. Sophie's gaze avoided mine, but I caught the cold calculation there, the same one I had seen when they first showed up with their plans. As the meeting drew to a close, it became clear that their scheme had been dismantled, piece by piece. Jonas's expertise and thorough investigation had exposed their flaws and their true intentions. Liam and Sophie left without another word, their plan unraveling before the eyes of everyone in that room. After they were gone, Eva turned to me with a gentle smile. "You have a strong advocate in Jonas," she said. "This farm isn't just property, it's your life's work. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." Jonas took my hand and squeezed it. "I'm not going anywhere," he said softly. "We'll keep the farm safe. Together." That night, as I stood on the porch watching the stars blink at the sky, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. The battle was far from over, but for the first time in a long time, I knew I wasn't alone. The farm, with all its memories and meaning, was still mine to protect. But more importantly, I had learned something deeper: that family isn't just about blood. It's about loyalty, respect, and standing up for what's right, even when those closest to you turn their backs. I didn't know what the future held, but I was ready. With Jonas by my side, I was prepared to face whatever came next and to reclaim the life and legacy that was rightfully mine. The silence that followed Liam and Sophie's departure was heavier than I expected. After everything Jonas had done exposing their plans, unraveling their lies, I thought the hardest part would be over. But the truth is, the deepest wounds come from betrayal within your own family. I sat alone in the kitchen, the familiar creak of the old floorboards beneath my feet a stark reminder of the life I was fighting to save. Jonas stayed on for weeks, helping me reorganize the farm's affairs and fortify my legal standing. Each day brought small victories, a rejected contract clause here, a cleared title there, but also moments of raw emotion. "You never deserve this," Jonas said one afternoon as we walked through the orchard, the crisp autumn air carrying the scent of ripe apples. "Family should lift you up, not tear you down." I nodded, feeling the bitter truth settle in my chest. Liam wasn't the son I had hoped for. His greed, fueled by desperation, had blinded him to what truly mattered. Sophie, with her calculated smiles and relentless ambition, had only pushed him further away. But Jonas was different. He was my rock, the steady hand I could hold onto in the storm. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, I made a decision. I wasn't going to wait for Liam or Sophie to change. I was done trying to fix what they had broken. Instead, I would start a new chapter, one where I was in control, surrounded by those who truly cared. With Jonas's help, I began exploring ways to revitalize the farm on my own terms. We discussed sustainable agriculture, local markets, even opening a small farm shop to connect directly with our community. It wasn't the flashy tech startup Liam dreamed of, but it was real, rooted in love and respect for the land. Word of the family drama had spread quietly through the town, but instead of pity, I found support. Neighbors stopped by with offers to help, old friends rekindled connections, and slowly, the farm began to buzz with life again. One morning, as I stood in the field watching the sunrise, Jonas joined me. "This farm has always been your legacy," he said softly. "Not because of the land, but because of your strength." I smiled, feeling a peace I hadn't known in years. The betrayal still stung, but it no longer defined me. I was Margaret, the woman who refused to be silenced, who fought for her home, and who found family in unexpected places. And as the new day began, I knew that whatever came next, I was ready. Because sometimes, the greatest victories aren't about money or power, they're about standing tall, reclaiming your story, and embracing the life you deserve. If you've listened this far, please like this video, subscribe to the channel for more stories like mine, and share it with friends who need a reminder that strength can come from even the deepest wounds. Comment below your thoughts or lessons learned. I'd love to hear from you.